All right. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's a good, gorgeous weekend, not compared to the other, what was it, like 2, 3 days out of the week when it was just raining nonstop. So, happy Saturday. You are here with our Life for Lives charity drive. Heather Smith's going to be running us through a yoga session today. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in. If it's your first time tuning in, make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff there. Without further ado, I'm just going to let us get right into the session here. I apologize for the delay that was on my end. I was actually taking care of a couple of things, but we're here and we're going to give you what you came for.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to yoga. If you've been tuning into the other yoga classes, this one is going to be very different. Today is more of a restorative focus, but we are going to start standing up. And we're going to need a couple pieces of equipment. I try to pick things that you will likely have at your house. So some kind of a ball, a tennis ball or a racket ball would work best. You could get by with a golf ball. You can even use like a Kong dog toy. I've used that at my house before. If you don't have that, then you can just skip the first couple minutes of this. And then you're going to need either a bolster or a firm pillow. So I recognize most people probably don't have a bolster at your house, but a long pillow, a body pillow, a firm pillow, or a couple pillows, something like that will work for everything that we are doing today. If you know you have tighter hips, like even sitting like this in easy pose can be challenging for you, then I would recommend having a blanket or a towel. It doesn't have to be your fancy yoga blanket, but it's any kind of a blanket or a towel that you can fold or roll and just sit up underneath your hips to elevate them a little bit. Will make some of the poses more comfortable for you today. So we are going to start standing up with tennis balls, just rolling out a little bit, doing a little bit of myofascial release. I've never done that before. It's good for improving mobility. It's good for reducing inflammation. It helps promote circulation of your blood and your lymphatic fluids. So just pick a foot and just start rolling it around. Just a slow process. This isn't speed work. And if you hit a spot that kind of feels like, ugh, it's okay to just hold it there and press in a little bit. So mild discomfort is definitely okay here. Trying to work out some of those tight areas. Since you probably can't go get a massage right now, it's almost like a self-massage here. So we'll focus just on our feet today. We'll have a little spot where we'll do a little on our lower legs. But myofascial release, you may have seen like foam rollers before. And those you can do lots of areas of your body. So let's do another minute or so on this foot. Just trying to apply pressure to those tissues, letting them release. Kind of jiggle a little bit. I've definitely dealt with foot pain over my lives, hoping the ball rolls away. But rolling it out, I can tell you, definitely helps. Especially when I'm not wearing maybe the best shoes at work, because I want to wear pretty heels, but then I'm on my feet all day, and my feet are like, why are you doing this to me? Let's switch to the other side. If I roll my feet out, definitely helps that process. So I feel like I'm slowly transitioning to more supportive ugly shoes, such as life as you age.
I don't have those problems.
Yeah, you don't wear heels to a whole athlete. But here we're a shoe-free place here, which when I'm at home is what I do. Yeah, something to look up in your free time is the idea of grounding. Just walking outside barefoot. Let your body connect with the earth. Lots of good stuff there. Again, just rolling it around, heel to toe. My rough spots are definitely in my arches. Ugh. Just pressing in on those spots. Give it a little wiggle maybe. Ooh. So if you got some Zoom meetings coming up this week, roll out your feet during your Zoom meetings.
Right.
They won't even know what you're doing. You're helping out your body. Alright, let's set that ball aside. Stay standing up for just a little bit longer. So focus is more restorative, but we're going to do a couple things just to get our joints and our bodies moving. If you didn't know, you have 3 different planes of motion, your sagittal, coronal, transverse, and we're usually very focused in one plane going forward and back, and that can create some imbalances in our body. So we're just going to start with some warm-ups that move our bodies in all directions, and then in our restorative poses, we'll make sure we'll hit all of those areas first. So with your legs, just pick a leg and just start moving it forward and back, kind of loosening up that hip joint a little bit. Again, this forward and backward motion is our most common movement type. Anytime you're walking, on your phone, it's all the sagittal plane here. Let's keep the leg out in front and just hinge from the knee now. Get a little balance work in because we don't have any balance poses today. All right, hold that leg out, and this time we're just gonna point and flex. Point and flex. And let's do the same on the other side. So just forward and back, controlled motion. If you need support, feel free to hold on to something. Let's hold that leg out and bend from the knee. Hold that leg out again, and this time pointing and flexing. Oh, my shout out today. My shout out goes to my sister Kimberly, who is tackling remote learning with her 3 elementary age kids, and then on many days goes and works a night shift at the hospital. So she is a rock star right now. I love you, sister. All right, let's set that leg down. Let's switch back to the other side. Moving a different plane here, just going out and in, so ab and adducting here. So this plane of motion is like the idea of doing a cartwheel, going side to side. Let's go the other way. Which I don't know about you, but when I do cartwheels these days, I get dizzy. That's life in your late 30s.
Yeah.
You still got time, Tony.
I still got time, but I get dizzy. I don't do them.
All right, back to the other leg. Let's do some transverse. So we're just rotating in and out. Just think about that joint here. Just rotating that leg. Hold that leg and just ankle rotations. Go the other direction. And switch to the other side. So the leg comes out, it's rotating in and out. So I'm going to give you an idea of your mobility through your hips, some of these movements. So not a ton of strength required. You'll definitely feel it when you hold your leg out there for a while. Just see what your range of motion is here. All right, hold that leg and just rotate. Go the other way. All right, release down. Let's do some for our upper body. Big inhale up. We're gonna exhale and just do some breath swings. So inhale to reach tall. Exhale out that mouth on your own breath. You don't need to follow my lead. Do a couple more. Let's come back to standing. To move side to side. You guys know what this is. I'm not going to embarrass myself and do it too much. The floss works. I'm not going to have us do that though. Let's just do some side bends. Come up and over. But if you see your kids doing the floss, man, it's good for the body. Moving that other plane of motion.
Let go.
Let's inhale and come to the other side. Hold for a few counts. Inhale and lift. Exhale to the other side. Again, you don't need to follow my breath. You can work on your own. Inhale to lift. Exhale over. Hold for another breath. And then come to the other side. Let's try to get one more in on each side. Arms can come by your side, and we'll do some arm swings. So we saw these last week or 2 weeks ago. Good spinal rotation, just loosening up your shoulders. Just let your arms fly, don't tell them where to go. Let momentum take them where they will. And let's slow down. And last, just a couple with our necks. So inhale, think length through the spine, through the crown of your head. Exhale, just dropping the shoulder toward the ear, making sure ears are pulled down and away. Inhale, lift to the other side. So there's our side to side for forward and back, chin to chest. And look up. Don't tilt your head all the way back, but just eye gaze to the ceiling here. Forward for our transverse, you're going to look over the shoulder, so think like you're trying to look behind you to merge lanes or something. Or your kids are acting up, but you don't really want to turn around, so you're just trying to give them the side eye. And let's go to the other side. That probably doesn't happen in your home, I'm sorry. I shouldn't assume. Or your dog is strangely quiet, you don't know why. Looking behind. All right, turn back forward and let's have a seat. We're going to be in easy pose for a few minutes. This is a spot where if easy pose is not so easy for you, you want to grab a blanket or a towel, even a block, and just elevate your hips a little bit. And this should help make this a little bit more comfortable of a pose. You could even sit in a chair if that's what's going to work for you today. So in restorative yoga, we work through different exercises, different poses, and we hold them for an extended period of time. So you're going to see me with my phone. I promise I'm not like texting people during class. It's so I can time stuff. You know, in a regular class where you're holding stuff for 15, 20 seconds, I can do that in my head, but 2, 3, 4 minutes, I totally lose track of time. So I use a timer for these poses. And that slowness, it gives the body the ability to come into a state of relaxation. It promotes healing and it promotes restoration. The key is slowing down. So if you live a faster paced life, you're probably slowed down a little bit in the past 6 weeks, but restorative is gonna force you to slow down even more. So be a part of the practice. Don't start getting antsy and get up in the middle of pose and start doing something. Just slow down and let your body come into that state of relaxation. So in this easy pose, just inhale some length through the spine. So think someone has like tied something to the top, crown of the head, and it's just pulling you up toward the ceiling. Hands go where it's comfortable. Maybe that's the floor, maybe it's your knees, into your lap, doesn't really matter. But close your eyes here. Just bring your awareness to your breath and pay attention to what your body is doing. The best way to help our bodies is to be able to understand where they are and why they do what they do. So that awareness piece is key. When we slow down, it gives us the opportunity to become aware of our bodies. So just think about how you're sitting right now. Are you leaning more to one side? Are you favoring one side over the other? If you are, just think about why. Maybe you have an injury on one side, a tightness in one area. You slept wonky and your back is just trying to shift off from one direction or another. Just bringing that awareness in of what's making your body do what it's doing right now. Take another big inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, roll those shoulders up, around, and behind. Think about tucking those shoulder blades back behind your rib cage. Another inhale. As you exhale, think about grounding those sits bones down into the floor. Inhale again, and as you exhale, feel your eyes dropping down to those eye sockets. Open up our eyes, we're gonna bring our heels to the ground and try to bring your knees together. So put your heels wherever they need to be. You're gonna try to grab your toes. If you can't reach your toes, then your heels, your ankles, your shins, wherever you can grab. But think about rolling into a ball to the best of your ability. Tuck your chin into your chest. And think about breathing in between your shoulder blades. That might sound strange, but I just want you to focus and think. Every time you inhale, think about breathing in between your shoulder blades. Your chest is really compressed here, and so we need to breathe into a different area of our body. And feel that loosening through your upper back here. Stay through a couple breaths. Let's release. You can stretch those legs out in front of you. So some people mistake restorative yoga as easy yoga. We don't move a lot, so maybe that's where that comes from. But it's definitely not easy to do some of these poses and hold them for a length of time and really let your body restore. All right, from this position, it's going to be what you've probably seen before, like a forward fold. We're going to be holding it for a while, so you need to think of some of your options. For some people, you'll want to get your bolster or your pillow, and you can rest it on your lap and just fold over it. This is going to force your legs to go straight. If having very straight legs is not comfortable for you, then what I would recommend is taking your blanket or a pillow that has a little more give to it and sticking it underneath your legs. Bent legs is totally fine in this position because you'll still get the lengthening through your lower back and through the backs of your legs. So you can do this completely unsupported. You can have something in your lap. You can have something under your knees. Pick what's going to work best for you. Before we fold forward though, I want you to pick up each of your butt cheeks and just kind of move it toward the back of the room. This is going to help tilt your pelvis in the position that we want. And then we're going to take a big breath in to create length. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to extend forward. So again, bent knees is fine. You can even still be sitting on a blanket here if you'd like. Let that head go. Wherever your hands fall is fine. They don't need to make it to your feet. And we hold. None of the poses we do today should be painful. A little bit of mild discomfort is okay. But again, if you're not used to holding poses for a while, this is your first kind of restorative type class, you're welcome to get out of the pose, shake a little bit, and then come back and join us. Easy breathing here. If you got some chest compression, think about breathing out the sides and your rib cage, breathing through your back, through those shoulder blades again. Continue holding just like this. If you'd like to continue in this pose but try something a little bit different, you can grab your ball, either one or if you have two of them. If you have something under your knees, you will need to remove it. Again, this is just an option. You can stay right where you're at. But if you want to add a little bit of release in those lower legs, you can stick the ball underneath the leg. Think about like kind of that spot where the real meaty portion starts under that calf. So either one side or both sides if you have two. And you either just hold it or just a slow roll, kind of moving it around. For our last minute here, if you only have one ball, you just count to 20 or so and switch to the other side. Just adding a little bit of a pressure point here, a little release through the lower leg. Again, totally optional. If you can't stay as far bent over because you want to focus on that piece, that's fine. Otherwise, you can continue moving forward. Just a few more breaths here. All right, let's release. We just have one more pose in the seated position, and then we're going to be doing more lying down. So for this, we're going to come into a wide leg fold. So feet come out to the sides. This is another opportunity if you want to have a blanket or a towel underneath your hips. That's totally acceptable. Your knees can be a little bit bent here, or they can be straight. And then you'll have some options. So one option is to take the bolster or your pillow, make it lengthwise, and you're just gonna lean forward and just stick your forehead on it. This provides a little bit of support. If your pillow is like too floppy, you might wanna find something else, a chair, an ottoman, a stool, something, a box that you can just lean forward on. If you have a little more flexibility, a little more range of motion through your hips and your inner thighs, you might be able to lay it flat on the ground and use that for support. So find what's going to work best for you to help you grow in your mobility, but also let you just rest. So you're not unsupported here. We don't want to just be holding. We want our muscles to be able to rest in this position. So find what works. Even if you have to use like a bunch of pillows because you need to be really up high, if that's what's going to work for you, then go for it. So find your position and rest. I'm not going to talk a whole lot in this one. Stay where you're at. If you feel that your body has melted into this pose a little bit, feel free to still have it supported, but maybe alter the position a little bit to allow your body to come into it a little bit more. Let's lift up. We're going to add a side bend to each side. We're not going to stay there long, so not necessarily going to need to support it. Go ahead and lift up that left arm. Breathe really, really tall. And as you exhale, start to C shape. So we're trying to keep this shoulder pointed up toward the ceiling. Your right arm can come across. It can come out. You can rest it on something. Whatever is going to help you best. Think about just opening up through our side bodies here. continuing to breathe through. Make sure you're not holding your breath in any of these poses. And let's lift up and come to the other side. So big breath in, right hand lifts up to the ceiling. Then think about arching, so pushing those ribs out as you come over. Let's come on up. I'm going to come into one of my favorite restorative poses. You're going to go ahead and bring those legs in. Maybe give them a little bit of a shake. We're doing something called a belly down supine twist. It's a fun name. I want you to swing your legs over to the left side of your body, kind of like a runner's position, runner stance here. So think, like right heel is by your right or your left thigh or knee. And then you're gonna take your bolster or your pillow. If your pillow is kind of flat, 2 pillows might work better for you. But bolster or pillow, whatever's gonna work, and you're going to put it up against that right hip. And then we're just gonna turn and face. And as you exhale, just start to creep it on down. So we creep, creep, creep. If you're realizing like I can't creep anymore, but I didn't make it to my pillow, then you're gonna wanna stack another one on there. And when you get down, turn your ear so that you are lying down. Close your eyes and hold. It's a gentle hip opener and provides spinal rotation. Continue to think about letting your body go, just let gravity pushing your body down into the ground, down into the floor. Releasing anything that you're holding on to. And breathe. For our last little segment on this side, you can either stay exactly where you're at, or if you want a little bit of an add-on, you're just going to slightly pick up your head and turn it so the other ear is on your pillow or your bolster, is bringing that rotation up through your neck. If it doesn't feel good, come back to where you are. release. Press yourself up to a seated position. Slowly. And then we will switch to the other side. So legs flip. Into that 90-90 position. Bring your pillow, bolster, whatever you're using to the other side. Yeah, I like that one a lot. You can do that one while you're watching TV. Maybe not a Zoom meeting for that one. All right, so pull it in. Remember, we want to get the rotation, so we're not just lying down on our side. We're moving over. So turn and face that pillow. Take a big breath in, length through the spine. And as you exhale, start to crawl down, keeping the arms on either side. When you get down to the bottom, turn that head to the easy side first. Close those eyes. And let your body restore. Now, this isn't yoga nidra, so you're not supposed to fall asleep, but relax. If you tend to have an anxious mind, these pauses, these quiet moments might be a time for those anxious thoughts to try to crowd out the benefits of this. So if you know you're prone to that, this is a good time to work through that. As those thoughts come to your mind, think about plucking them out, giving them no time, not giving them any of your energy. Because truly anxious thoughts don't have a logical basis. I know this because it's something I struggle with from time to time. So it's not something you can necessarily reason through. It's something you have to work toward removing. And these quiet times can be helpful for that. Provide good opportunities for prayer and meditation as we go through these poses. Reaching out to God and offering Him your thoughts. If you want that add-on, just gently lift up the head and turn so the other ear is facing down. Release. Start to use those arms to push yourself up to a seated position. I'm going to come into child's pose with some support since we'll be there for a while. So pick whichever direction you would like to face and come onto those hands and knees. All right, so big toes we want to be together. Knees can be hip distance, or if you want an extended child's pose, they can be up to as wide as your mat. You can have your bolster or your pillow in front of you and just kind of pull it in so that as you lie down, you lie into it. If you need to rest your head to one side, that's fine. You can switch kind of halfway through. We'll start here, trying to bring those hips down toward the heels as you're able. And try to lengthen those arms up overhead. Think about breathing into your back body here. Think about gravity just pushing your body down, down, down. If your head is turned toward one side, you can gently lift it up and turn toward the other side. Continue holding here for another minute or two, but if you want to add on, so if you feel you've got enough mobility, that you're really sinking down here, an option to bring a little more focus into your shoulders is you can bring your bolster or your pillow out in front of your body, rest your arms on it, and let your head sink, your forehead sink down to the ground. Again, just an option. You can continue holding where you were at, but if you want to add on a little more upper body release, you can put your arms on your pillow and let your head sink to the ground. let's release. You're gonna push any props out of the way here. And we're gonna come into half frog. We did full frog a couple weeks ago. It was an intense hip opener. We're gonna bring our knees together to start, and we're actually just gonna lie down on our tummies. And you want your elbows underneath your shoulders, planted into the ground, your palms flat. What we want to avoid is slumping down, so think about using your elbows to push into the mat to keep your upper body supported here. Then you can take your right knee or your left knee, doesn't matter, it'll be both sides, and just start creeping it out to the side. Think about bringing that knee up, your feet or foot pointed away from you. And think about just pressing the hips down a little bit, rotating them down. Feel the opening through that inner thigh, your groin area here. And we hold. You guys can come toward those hands. Think about just releasing that leg. Let's bring that leg in and just lie flat. Bring your arms where they need to go. Sometimes I think the hardest part of that pose is keeping the upper body supported. Your shoulders start to complain. So let's hold here through a couple breaths and then do the other side. All right, let's come back up. Elbows plant, palms down. Nice supported upper body. And then that other knee start to come out to the side. Toe pointed away. Eye gaze toward those hands. And then let go of that hip. Let gravity do its job, pushing it down toward the ground. I picked this pose because this has been the week of frogs for my son. You can hear them all talking to each other all day and all night. And during every recess, my son went frog hunting with his net. He caught some big bullfrogs this week. And I just love seeing that smile on his face when he catches one. Which we then release. We're not like eating frog legs this week or anything. Keep supporting that upper body. You can feel yourself shrugging, pressing. Release. Ooh. And we're going to roll over. We're going to stay on our backs for a supine twist and then come into corpse pose. I'm going to put my socks on. All right, so go ahead and lay flat. Bring your knees up into a tabletop, so right over those hips. Arms come out like you're making a T. And just let those legs fall over to one side of the body. If you want them resting on a pillow or a bolster, that's totally acceptable. Remember, we hold it here for a while, so there's definitely time to adjust as necessary. But if you can't get your knees close to the ground, I want you to stick a pillow or a bolster underneath them so that they're supported. Arms come out nice and wide. Once you kind of relax into your position, just gently lift up your head and turn your gaze away from the legs. Continue holding where you're at, or if you want a little bit more, you can lengthen out your top leg and just let the toe rest on the ground or the pillow. If you lengthened out that leg, tuck it back in so your knees are stacked. And then everybody uses abdominals to pull the knees up. We're going to switch to the other side. So if you need to move your bolster or your pillow to the other side, please do so. Knees come up over those hips, arms come wide, big breath in. And as you exhale, slowly lower to the other side. Again, if you can't get that bottom knee to hit the ground, please put a pillow, blanket, something underneath to support it. And once you've found your position, gently turn the head away from the legs. Stay where you're at, or if you want that add-on, and lengthen out the top leg. Let that toe come toward the floor or pillow. If you lengthened out that leg, go ahead and bend it again so your knees are stacked. Use your abdominals to pull your knees back up and lower the heels to the ground. you know you have lower back issues, for this last little segment, you might want to keep your knees bent. Just separate the heels to the outer edges of your mat. Let your knees fall in like a tent. If not, you can come into corpse pose. So lengthen those legs out nice and long. Feel free to put a pillow or blanket under any areas. Sometimes under your knees is helpful. Or support your neck. Roll those shoulders away from the ears, tucking those shoulder blades behind the rib cage. Hands come out to the side, palms up. Think about relaxing through your face, moving out your forehead. Releasing your cheeks. Find a moment, kind of moving your jaw around, open, close, side to side. Take one last swallow. And peel the tongue off the roof of your mouth. And just let it hang and let your jaw hang. Teeny tiny tuck of the chin. Providing some length through your neck. Drawing nice deep breaths in. Down into that belly, feeling it inflating like a balloon. I want you to try to make your exhales longer than your inhales. Pick a pattern of your choosing, or you can come with me. I'm going to inhale for a count of 4 in my head. Then I'm going to exhale for a count of 6. Really exhaling, trying to draw all the air out of my lungs. And when I get to the bottom, breathing deep for 4, and exhaling for 6. So try that through just a couple cycles, and then go back to your natural breath. Draw your knees into your chest. Give them a little hug. And roll over to a fetal position on one side of your body, lengthening out an arm for your head to rest on. And use your arms to press yourself up to seated position. And as we inhale, our arms lengthen overhead. We meet. We exhale down to heart center. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord turn his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face to you and give you peace. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Nice restorative day. Recovery is extremely important, especially with the lows that we've been doing this week. We tend to increase the movements throughout the week. So if you're keeping up with everything, the sessions are getting a little bit more difficult as the weeks go on. But we appreciate you for staying involved and supporting us in all phases of that. So something like this is really important, just to kind of reduce inflammation and kind of speed the recovery process. So restorative yoga was definitely welcome today. So thank you for that. Everyone, have yourself a truly blessed weekend. Enjoy the sunshine that we have out here. Stay safe, and we'll see you again Monday. Anthony will kick us off with strength and conditioning. So I'm hopefully this will speed up the process of you feeling better for Monday. Other than that, have a blessed